gentlemen, may I direct your attention to something quite extraordinary.
Chris, the Herons are back. And we got Messi.
What's going on? What? Where is the information? I guess we're getting ready for a sister kissing fiesta.
I felt like we were playing a 2-8. It was just a 2-8.
Let me tell you, Danny is about to get destroyed in the chat. So
Are we kissing sisters, Chris?
And maybe stepsisters, but not regular sisters. I've done a little bit of research on him. When it comes to FIFA, this guy's 68.
We're gonna have the greatest player of all time on the team. If there's a time to believe, it's now.
It looks like a heron shat all over it. So you guys are literally getting excited for a rank 65 player on FIFA 23. We got some pretty good FIFA cards on our squad now. All right?
You gotta understand, Kevin. This is how we scout our players here on this show.
Just look at FIFA cards.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Hold on, Danny. Danny. Nobody can hear you say it. Nobody can hear you say it, Poppy.
Oh, there you go. My fault. Let's start over. Let's go.
Let's do it.
The Herons are back.
Fuck yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 125 of the Better Herons podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada. Alongside me, as always, Mr. KBD. How are you doing, sir?
I'm a lot better. We're getting some better news. Everybody can calm their tits. You know, everybody was expecting Julian Gressel and then wasn't. And then now, hey, he's coming. He's here.
Damn, Mike V came in strong with me. Damn, that's kind of mean. All right. So, yes, we started a little rough. I didn't realize that I was still muted. I usually have to mute myself during the intro so that you don't hear the background noise. All right. Well, we didn't come alone. We came in with some reinforcements, kind of like Chris Hendo is supplying Inter Miami with some reinforcements. We got none other than our guy, Xavier from Lemon City Live. How are you doing, sir?
Great. I want to know what my card would be, my FIFA card, what my ranking would be. You got to start ranking reporters.
Yes, for sure you'd be in the in the 90s, for sure.
Whoa.
Yes.
I wouldn't give him a 90. You're way too generous.
You're an asshole. You're going to give him a 74? You're not even going to give him a gold card?
Somewhere in between, yeah.
Like an 83.
And so I can keep growing and developing and get up there.
I'm with it.
What's up,
shout out to Michael. Greetings from Chile. Love your show. We appreciate you joining us all the way from Chile.
Nice.
We're going to be talking some South America for sure today. So before we get into some South America talk, let's get into an actual MLS transfer coming over. Everybody's talking about, we're just going to South America and bringing everybody over from South America. Well, we had our first signing here in January, Julian Gressel. We kind of all figured that might be happening. We finally got a little depth at right back because at the moment we only had DeAndre Yedlin. Now we have Julian Gressel. He's not a world beater defensively, but offensively he gives us a lot more as far as being able to cross a lot better than Yedlin. But he doesn't have the pace that Yedlin does. I want to go to you first, Xavier. What do you think about the signing of Julian Gressel?
Before that, you forgot Harvey Neville. He's a right back too.
You really expect him to be back?
I keep mentioning him, and everybody keeps dismissing me every single time.
Yeah, Chris, and I always thought he was like a decent MLS player. People think he's not, but I think he's a decent player.
It was the name of his back.
Yeah, everybody got on him. But Gressel's a solid pickup. I mean, he's a very good MLS player. He's national team player, right? So I think he's above the average. Championship pedigree. He knows how to win. He's got to. He's coming over here to provide depth. It's not just right back. He could play midfield, center midfield, right wing back.
He hasn't played midfield in forever though. Like I don't know why.
Yeah, now he's
as an option.
He's more. But he's more towards the right back. But in this team where he could probably maybe sit in the middle, if they play with two, he could function there. But it's a really good signing. It was expected. It took so damn long. But I like it. I like that signing, and I'm expecting for more movement. You know, people coming, people going. Like I put out earlier, I expect more people to come, more people to go.
For sure, and like I said, I like the signing. I like the depth. Now I don't know how long Yedlin's going to be here. I would love him to stay here and have a role here, whether it be as a backup or gets those spot starts, because it's going to be plenty of rotation. If Julian Gressel ever gets put into the midfield because either injuries or just the amount of games that we're playing. We need somebody experienced at right back. So I would love to keep Yedlin. But with that said, his contract is over $500,000. I highly doubt that they keep him around.
They got a lot of tournaments. They got a lot of winning that they want to do. Yedlin, to me, this is perfect. Gressel comes in, and he should bring out the best of Yedlin if he stays on this team. I think Yedlin, he has more to give to the team. I mean, he has the pedigree. He played in Europe. He has everything he needs to be a star player, which he's wasn't.
Locker room guy.
Yeah, but we need him on the pitch. We need him on the pitch. We, meaning Inter Miami, needs him to play to his full potential. And I think towards the end of the season, you saw a little bit more of that. You saw him taking people on. You saw him getting some assists into the box. That's what we wanted to see earlier. I mean, he started to do it a little bit later into the season. I think it's a good thing to have that depth. I think they're trying to get 3 deep in every position. It seems like they're trying to go 3 deep because you've got all these tournaments. You're not going to get Suarez, Messi, Alba, and Busquets every day and 90 minutes. So they need to rotate it. They need to have quality. And Gressel's a quality player. Gressel's a very quality player. If Yedlin is supposed to be, let's say, the second team, it's a quality player. And on the left, go ahead.
I was going to tell you one thing about Gressel, and I was going to let Chris talk real quick, but I just saw this. Why does Danny look like a Goya can? It's an adobo bottle. This is a play on adobo, right? Bam Adebayo. It's a Miami Heat shirt. Instead of adobo, it's Adebayo. So just in case, and for those of you on audio, I'm wearing a Miami Heat Bam Adebayo shirt.
Shouldn't have to explain it.
No, I know, but look, they said Goya. It is technically Goya, but it's adobo.
Yeah, no, he got it.
Go ahead, Chris. What were you going to say?
No, I mean, you started off the top, X, with you talking about Harvey Neville, and I'm thinking to myself, is there a possibility that he can be able to come back and see the field? Because other than the last name on his jersey, he was a pretty good player, and I think he's more than fitting to play a backup.
I agree with you. I think he was a very solid player. I liked he was aggressive, and he's really good putting some passes over, deep, and through. I think he's a solid player, and if let's say he's on the team for the U.S. Cup, that's a really good player to have out there.
Oh yes,
I keep thinking that they're trying to go 3 deep. It's very difficult given the budget situation, but if anybody could do it, Henderson can, right? But there's so many other moving parts that you're not really sure what he's gonna do because he's like Houdini, he's here and he pops out somewhere else, so you're not sure what he's gonna do.
And shout out real quick to Jesus Torres, said that he likes the show and he's first time he joins us live, so we appreciate you joining live. And real quick, I do a Battered Heat show Thursday night at 10 o'clock, Mitch, and we could talk about that if you ever jump on Thursday night 10 o'clock Battered Heat, and we'll talk about that later on in the show also because there's a giveaway. We're giving away Heat tickets.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm from Brooklyn, so I rep the hometown. Real quick, I saw somebody with this comment. Gressel right mid hurts Benja Kramaki. I don't think that he's going to be playing the midfield. Like he might like in an Open Cup game in like a spot situation, all of it, or maybe a halftime adjustment, like maybe. But as a starter, I don't see him playing right mid. I don't. I think he's going to be the right back. And some people are speculating that Inter Miami is going to go. I call it 5 in the back. Some people call it 3 in the back, whatever. That they're going to play with wing backs. I don't see it. I think that is going to stick to his traditional 4 in the back. Well, Xavier, do you think they're going to go 4 in the back, or do you expect?
I think he's going to do like Neville, the coach, did. Have flexibility, and that's another thing with these players. He has flexibility with a lot of these players, to play them in multiple positions. So you're going to be able to use multiple formations. I don't think it's always going to be a 4-3-3. I think there are going to be games where they're going to be 5 in the back. I think there's games where they're going to be 4-2-3-1. So I believe they're going to be flexible with the formations, depending, the tactics on the team they're facing and what they want to do. And they have players that can do that. I mean, let's say Negri or Alba. Let's take Jordi Alba. Jordi Alba's left back, but he can play left wing. He can be up top. Yes. You can even pair. This is just me. You can play Negri the back, Alba up top with the.
That's what I was wondering.
There's a lot of There's a lot of flexibility on this roster right now. We're going to see what other moves they're going to make, but I just see 3 deep, and I see flexibility. So I don't think they'll be married to just one formation.
Let me tell you,
year-
you need to be holding a clipboard, because doing that mix up right there, that should put you on the sidelines right there, Xavier.
Well, let me tell you something that I said I always want to be a coach. But let me tell you something I said last season. Like, I threw it out on Twitter, and just not too many people caught it. But Diego Gomez, he took a lot of slack, in the midfield, all this craziness. But I think that kid could be a solid center back. I think that he could be a very, very solid center back. Why? Because he's a decent. He's not a bad 6 type 8 player. He could be better with his technique. He could be a little better with his first touch. But I think as a center back, he'd be really, really good. He kind of reminds me.
Gregory as a center back.
That's another option, but he's more of a midfielder. But that's another option. And I was going to say Ian Frey. Ian Frey, that unfortunately he gets hurt, often. But that kid is a center back, and he has the qualities of a center midfielder, right?
Yeah.
So I think Gomez is kind of that type of player, and if they got in a crunch and played him, they discover a real big talent. And he's from Paraguay, man. Paraguay brings out defenders
like crazy.
They're solid defenders, yeah, solid.
Yeah, I can see that. And look, there's other people that are basically saying the same. Well, kind of the same thing. Gomez will make a great, CDM like Gregory.
That's why I see him too. Yeah.
He is.
That's what I see him there. But he's got at the end he started to get a little bit more into the touching and a little more into space and stuff. So I think he was growing into it. Let's see. I mean, he's got a lot of potential.
Ian, go ahead, Danny.
I was just gonna say, unless they convert somebody to a center back, I just can't imagine how they're gonna go 3 center backs in the back. Like, I get you saying with the whole Neville like flexibility, and I would love that, but you need center backs for that. Like, unless you're going to play Noah Allen at left center back like they've done in the past, or you're going to convert a Diego Gomez or a Gregory to a center back. Like, I don't want to see Ryan Saylor out there starting games. No offense, Ryan.
I don't think he's a bad player.
I don't think he is to the caliber of what this team wants to be. I don't want to see him starting in CCC games. Maybe an MLS regular season games, Open Cup games. That's his bread and butter.
He's MLS.
Right, but like when it comes to international games in the CCC, like I think that there's a certain standard that we're expecting this
higher caliber. You need a higher caliber,
and I don't see that, especially like in the starting 11 right now at this present time. I see Tomas Aviles. I guess Sergio Christoph would be the second, which rarely anybody is really happy with that, with the high line we play. And then who would be the third? I guess
McVay,
Tyler Hall, the 17-year-old that we just called up.
I was going to bring something up really quick. Like, let's say U.S. Open Cup. Imagine they're playing just the line of 4 in the back, and they put Tyler Hall and Aviles, 17 and 19, two young stud players. Now, McVay, you mentioned sleeper. You mentioned somebody that kind of went to sleep last year. The season before, McVay was the best. He was the best defender on the team. Yeah. Because he was playing, he had played left back, he played right back, a 6'5" guy, and he
didn't miss a game.
Good. And he looked good. And then Tata came in and he put him to sleep. Why?
Don't blame Tata. Don't blame Tata. Because he was put to sleep long before Tata got there. That's why we got Kamal Miller.
Well, either way, I think McVay is a solid player.
McVay was my disappointing player last year.
Not here, somewhere else. He could be an option to move, or I don't know what's gonna happen with him.
I don't know. He disappointed me the most last year. I expected so much from him last year.
Like a mental drop, right?
Yeah, because I thought that when he was playing center back, I thought he looked great, and then he was playing left back, he looked solid, but not as good as center back. He's out of position, dude. Right? Yeah. I was like, so when they move him to center back, he's gonna destroy. And then he didn't. And I was like, oh man. And then they got Kamal Miller, and I was like, oh, it's over. And
I think, I'll tell you, I think that he showed up pretty decently for a left back, considering the need that we needed at that time.
He got the team through that season.
Yeah. Now, somebody in the comment mentioned before I'm going to take this one away, Danny, and I'll bring it right back up.
Go for it.
Abetico says Gregory has more discipline to be a center back. Imagine if Aviles and Gregory plays center back, that's red card city. Like that's I don't know about discipline like that. We'll get red carded all over the defensive end. So you brought this comment up, Danny?
No, yeah, a lot of people say the same thing, and I'm on that same boat. Diego Gomez hasn't really convinced me yet.
Yeah.
But some people have given up on him, and I haven't.
No, you can't.
No, I think he has a lot of potential. I still believe that he can grow into his own. Remember, he got there halfway through the season. He got there in the middle of Leagues Cup, and it was just game after game. They haven't had a proper training since they started playing. I think a lot of these players are going to take a step up once they get into this season. That's why I love the world tour that they're doing. Like everybody's like, oh, but that's horrible. I don't think the travel's that big a deal. They're going to have 7 games. You're going to give the majority of the roster even playing time, right? Messi will get 20 minutes here and there, Gomez, and they're going to get a lot of playing time against good caliber. They're going to play good caliber players in Saudi Arabia.
Good experience. They're going to get good experience.
And a 17-year-old playing in a stadium of 60,000 people that are going crazy. I'm sorry, you can't fake the funk. You can't get that experience at MLS 2. You can't get that at a US Open Cup
USL,
game. You can't get that in
Miami.
a friendly. You can't get that in a regular preseason game here in MLS, but you're going to get that over there, and all of that's going to help. So I think there's no negatives to this outside. Okay, maybe a little bit of travel, but it's not like they're traveling uncomfortably. They'll be all right.
You want to be with the big boys. They want to be a brand. They want to be up there with the big teams out of MLS. They're trying to do that. They're the trendsetters. They're setting that first, historic tour. They're the team that's bringing in the big name players. Yeah, they're a little bit older, but Messi, bringing Messi, Alba, Busquets, they're older, but they can still play, and they show that, right? Because when they were on the field, the team was badass. Remember when they went out to LAFC and I think it was 3-1 that they beat them out there, and it wasn't that close, right? And they played like a fantastic game. Well, yeah, the Herons. Inter Miami is setting a trend. A lot of people don't like it, but personally, not as a fan of the team, but just as an MLS fan, I like it because it's going to make everybody else have to do something. Even those cheap ass owners that don't want to do anything, they just want to get a player, keep everything and then sell and just make easy money. Now they're going to have to step it up, and the league's going to have to move up. They're going to have to.
Tony Axe keeps bringing up the jet lag thing and the time zones. Do you think that that's going to play a big, it's not going to be an issue?
These guys got queen size beds in these fucking jets, guys.
No,
come on.
That's a fair assessment, right? Because jet lag is a real thing. Having to go from different time zones, right? All of a sudden you're playing a game at 8:00 at night, one night, and then 3 days later,
Barcelona just recently, I think it was like a couple of weeks ago or last month, they had a game in Spain, and then they flew out here to the United States like the next day, and had a game like 2 days later or something like that.
Yeah, well, look, I don't think it's a huge deal, but if you're trying to tell me that there is a negative to traveling, okay,
of course,
I'll give you that.
There's wear and tear, yeah.
Right,
but early in the season,
I think
okay.
When's the last game in Japan? Isn't it like in the first week of February?
I know the last game here, the final game with Newell's is the 15th, so it's got to be early. They're spaced out. I think they'll have it well.
They'll have like 2 weeks to get back out of that jet lag to get ready for the regular season. I really don't think it's that big a deal, guys. I think when people, and you know what's really going to get me, and I know this wasn't one of the topics, right? But whatever, we'll just touch on it. What's really going to get me is one of them will get injured and like the game in China, and then they'll blame the preseason world tour for it. If they get injured in the 4th preseason game in China, they would have gotten injured in the 4th preseason game in Colorado playing against the Colorado Rapids,
or Tropical Park here.
Right.
Yeah,
that doesn't make the fact that they're playing over there physically doesn't add to an injury. So if they get injured, please don't do that, because that has no bearing.
It's part of the game, though. Injuries are part of the game. I think they're doing a good trip. I think that the benefits outweigh the negatives big time. Saludos, cafecito, don cafecito. I think, it outweighs it. I think they're doing something spectacular, and they're these guys are professionals. They've planned this out. I think they spaced it out. They know what they're doing, and a lot of these kids are gonna get playing time. Just like you said, Messi's not gonna play. Messi's gonna go out there. He has to go out there because everybody went to see him, right?
Yeah.
Anywhere he goes, they're gonna go see him. So he has to be on the pitch. But people are gonna be happy. Messi comes in 30 minutes, plays 40, maybe.
You think?
I'm expecting less. I'm expecting less.
Okay.
But then you get Bo Wright and you get all these kids, Kermash, all these 18, 19. Miami has a lot of young guys. David Reed, you get these guys and get them playing. gonna get a lot because they're not gonna get all that playing time during the regular season. Not all of them. You know, their playing time is gonna be cut a little bit. So these guys are gonna play a lot of preseason.
Well, and I have the schedule right here. On the 19th, they play against El Salvador. And then January 22nd, they play against FC Dallas. The 29th, they play against Al Hilal. And then February 1st, they play against Al Nazir. Right. And then and then 3 days later, they go play Hong Kong.
Yeah,
and then Vissel Kobe 3 days later. I mean,
it's a busy schedule. And our gentleman here, Tony Axe, that thinks that the Saudi teams, they have an advantage. They have an advantage.
They have a huge payroll for sure.
They have an advantage in regards. Yeah, you're playing at their home. You traveled. They might be a little tired, but it's pro ball, man. No excuses. You go out there and you play. You play the game.
It's friendly, and if they look, unless they get rocked like 15-0, like I'm not. Like if they lose 3-0, 3-1, I don't care. Like personally, it doesn't bother me.
I don't know, man.
No,
I don't know because against Ronaldo, Messi's the most humble, or whatever. But I don't think he's gonna let that slide, man. He's gonna go out there and put on a show. He's gonna they're both gonna put on a show that game. So I don't think we'll get clobbered. I think he's gonna let the guys. He's gonna.
What I'm saying is that if they do, I don't care. Like they're playing, like they have Kante running the 6 for them, like. He's going to have half of this squad in his pocket. Kante, to me, is one of the most underrated players in the world. I mean, maybe not anymore, but I used to love him when he was out in Chelsea.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Chris, you were going to say something?
I think that you take away so much weight from that matchup, dude. I mean,
because it's
that's going to be...
Oh, it's going to be all over the place for sure. It's going to get promoted up.
It's going to be huge, dude.
I have a friend, when we play the pickup soccer games and all that stuff, he says there's no such thing as a friendly, just an unofficial match. That's what it is. It's an unofficial match. It's not a friendly. But especially if you got Messi, you got go, right?
Oh,
who's the goal?
And somebody just corrected me. I thought Kante was on the same team as Ronaldo. I guess not.
Thank you, Jesus.
So yes, thank you. I appreciate that. My fault. I thought he was on the same team because I don't know. Ronaldo's team is stacked. Also, they have Benzema. I know Ronaldo's playing with Benzema, or am I wrong? I get all those.
They're not.
I get all those teams confused. You see, who watches that league? I don't even know how would you go about watching that league? I don't even know how to watch it.
When I don't even know how to watch it. Good luck.
Yeah,
good luck.
Benny is chill. I like it.
Look. Benzema's on another team too. Okay, so now I'm not worried. So it's just Ronaldo. That's it. Okay, I'm not even worried. The Messi's gonna rock.
No, they're solid. They're solid players. They're solid teams. But Miami's got a team, man, and I think they'll show up. Yeah. We'll see when it's game time.
All right.
I know Messi's gonna show up for sure.
So before we close out, we started off with Julian Gressel and kind of got sidebarred, but. Before we leave the whole Julian Gressel talk, do you guys expect Yedlin to be on this team when the season starts? Xavier?
I do.
Okay.
And I've seen a lot on people saying, that the signs are in the wall that he's going to be gone. I think he'll be here. I think you have to at minimum, you have to be too deep. And if it's not, then he's going to go for nice Chris Henderson chunk of money, change, trade, So he's going to be an important piece, whether he's here or he's gone. I think he's going to be here. I would like him to be here because I think that he still owes something to this team. He came with much ado, and he hasn't lived up to that completely. He's been a solid player, and like you said, in the locker room, amazing.
Yeah,
right. The guys are quality. Yeah, no, those are quality guys. Mm-hmm. But on the pitch, he's got enough to give more. He needs to be a superstar in this league. He's at the level where he can be a superstar, and he wasn't, and he hasn't been for Inter Miami. So hopefully this is the season.
I tried to find his salary for next season, Chris, real quick. I'm sorry, and I couldn't. I saw that last year he made $825,000. Now I'm not sure what his contract is for this coming year. I wasn't able to locate it right now. I'd have to go on a deeper dive, but if it's anywhere near there, that's way too much for a backup. So I don't see it happening. I would like him to stay, but I don't see it happening. And then to the point of Negri that you brought up earlier, I don't think Negri wants to be a backup. Chris and I were suggesting he play left wing last year because I thought that was because he was playing basically up there anyway last year.
And he was getting cooked on the defense.
Yeah, right. So we thought he should just transition to left wing anyway. I don't see him wanting to be a backup, so I don't know if
I hope not. I don't want anybody in my team
wanting it.
Wants to be a
right.
And you know that he's Argentinian. These guys play with passion all the time. So but he's coming back from a serious injury, so we got to see where he is. He's coming back from a very serious injury.
No, for sure.
So we got to see where he is. But he definitely could play left wing or left back, and then that's where we wonder where's Noah. What's going to happen with Noah?
Yes,
that's our backup. Chris, what do you think about Yedlin?
He needs to play to keep improving.
Yes, he does. He does need the playing time, absolutely. But I think that if we're going to have Harvey Neville back, I don't know if there's going to be.
He's not coming back.
I don't know if there's a necessity of having Yedlin. I mean, I think that Yedlin is a good presence to have on the team. I do think that he has better pace.
I think Harvey Neville was good, but don't compare him to Yedlin.
No, but I'm not.
No, I'm saying the Neville can be
from
the
a backup perspective. I think for the amount that you're paying Harvey Neville in comparison to what you're paying, DeAndre Yedlin, I'd be okay with giving up Yedlin for a big money
if they're giving
stay with Harvey Neville for 15 minutes, 10 minutes a game. You're telling me you wouldn't take Harvey Neville for 10 minutes, Danny?
We forgot about this.
I take Israel Boatwright for 15 minutes. Because I think that's who's going to be getting those spots if Yedlin leaves.
Yeah,
Israel Boatwright was called up. He is officially a member of Inter Miami 1. And he plays.
Somebody's leaving. Somebody's leaving.
Right.
Yeah, somebody.
Yedlin or Neville. One of those guys.
I think there's a good chance that they both leave because with Boatwright there and that price tag that Yedlin's probably going to command, I think that Boatwright might be seeing a lot of minutes at right back. And don't be surprised if it's if there's 3 deep with Gressel, Boatwright, and Robert Taylor. I wouldn't be surprised to see Robert Taylor back there quite a few times. Especially if they're playing the 3 in the back, like you said, 100% he'll play right wing back. He's done it plenty of times before.
No, he's good. He's good at it.
Yeah.
Well, he's the Swiss Army knife.
He's horrible.
He's a Swiss Army knife. They could just put him anywhere on the field. But look at this comment here. Mitch Robinson says, I feel like Gressel coming in will elevate Yedlin's game a little bit, similar to when Joseph took time from Campana when Messi got here. Campana played amazing in his limited minutes while Joseph didn't. And I do agree with that. I do think that will bring out the best in Yedlin. I do think so.
You would hope so, right?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
No, I don't think Neville will ever follow his father again.
No way.
At this point, he shouldn't.
To start his career, okay, because he started with the academy or whatnot, but not anymore. And his dad wouldn't do that to him. He saw what happened here. He's not going to let that happen again to him.
Let me tell you, that was probably one of the most disappointing things that I experienced as an Inter Miami fan watching the game was to see the fan base boo at him just because. Yeah, I mean it was brutal. It was brutal
because of his dad.
Yeah, because of his dad. And I mean, look, we weren't having a great season, but at the same time, you can't take away that Harvey Neville was a pretty decent right back when he came onto the field. Like he at times was helping to generate offense when we had no offense at the time.
Well, what everybody said is that they were selling it. It was like I forgot what game it was, but it was a game that we were down. I think 1 goal, and then they needed to make a substitution. They substituted Harvey Neville in. And they said they should have done an offensive substitution, but that was an offensive substitution. And I'm not going to get into that again. But
yes, you are.
Was that with Emerson right there?
Yeah.
This is just asking a real simple question here. What's your opinion on Emerson?
I think last season would have been, he played the season before. He didn't have a great year for the potential that he has. I think last season he would have been needed more. He was needed more on this team. Because they didn't have that guy that could break people down one-on-one. But he's not going to be here. I don't think he's going to be here. He's not going to be here. You already have players in that position. You have Farias, and Farias has a higher ceiling.
100%. And then real quick, thoughts on Campana staying or leaving? I don't think he's going
he has to stay. He has to stay because if the team is serious about winning it all, like they said, you have to have talent. You have to be deep. And Campana is too young and too good to give up on him right now. I don't think you give up on a player like that. Now, let me tell you quickly, Emerson. I like that style of player. I like those guys that go at it. I like that, and I think it's needed.
When they know what to do when they get to the opportunity.
But some of the coaches don't like that. And then he was a little weak treading back to defend. So that was his downfall there, because he did some good things. But hopefully he's developed. I think he got a little bit better playing in Mexico the time that he played. Maybe he's a more mature player, but I don't think he's going to be on the team. I don't foresee that.
All right. So
we'll see.
We had Isaiah Boatwright got called up. He signed the contract today, which, like you said, is adding to the depth. I think that also means that either Yedlin, Harvey Neville has no chance.
I think Neville's gone.
And I think Yedlin. I don't think Yedlin's coming back as much as I would like him to. And then we had somebody else, Tyler Hall, center back. I believe he's 17 years old.
Yes, he is.
So that's another big pickup. What are you thinking as far as depth? Because we're finally adding some depth at center back now. Exactly what we want.
Some speed. The team is slow in the center back position. You need speed. I think you know what, when we talk about McVay for as big as he is, he's got a little motor.
He can move. He can move
pretty quick. Kristaps, I think, is the most fundamentally sound, most experienced, solid player. The guy won like 14 championships in Ukraine. He knows how to play. When he started the season, you could see the difference. When he got hurt, it went down a little bit.
It did.
A little bit. I would blame on the injury because he got ankle, knee, and he's an older player. But he's a very solid player. Solid player. We
say on here all the time that if he played for a team like Nashville, he'd be an all-star because he knows how to position himself well. He can get in the – he, to me, is a rock back there. Mm-hmm. But when he's allowed to be back there, when he's got to get back in transition, that's just not his game. He's not suited for this type of game or this type of team.
Which center back for our team is? Ian?
Aviles, Frey.
Now, right? The young kids.
Yeah, the young kids.
Like Hall.
I like Kamal Miller.
Yeah, I think he's a solid player, lefty,
left-footed,
at center back. But I think sometimes he's a little bit slower than I expected him to be, and I don't think he I didn't think he was great on the one-on-one. And Miami needs that defender that is not going to get broken down on one-on-one every time.
Yeah,
and I think that's what they're lacking right now in center back. Ian Frey is a big variable in that mix because
absolutely.
If he comes back and can finally be healthy, finally play a complete season, and finally show his potential, that's an all-star caliber player. He really is. He really is. He's an all-star caliber player and a very young player. But we don't know because of his injury. His history.
No, yeah, well, that's the issue with Ian.
That's the scary part.
And what Ash is saying, the highlight needs players to keep possession. I thought Kamal Miller was good with distributing the ball.
He was very good.
I thought that was another positive, and I think that's something that people didn't. I think you just expect that center back to be able to do that.
No, yeah, and it's smooth. He's smooth lefty. I mean, he would put some nice passes through the lines. He knew how to make his cut. Like he was definitely solid with the ball and knew how to get it, out and give a good pass, not just pop it anywhere and give it to the opponent. Definitely, he was a good player. I just think he was more limited. I expected him to be faster, and he was more limited when it was the one-on-one because when he had to come out, they go up wide and he had to come out cover, and he'd have one of those quick guys one-on-one. It was tough for him. It usually is for center backs, but I expected him to be a little faster. I really did.
I really am hoping that Ian Frey returns from injury and is super solid,
for his own sake, man.
Yeah, because number one, he was doing so great before the injury, and the fact that he went down at the worst time possible. Like, my goodness, imagine if he wouldn't have gotten injured, how he would have panned out this year. We wouldn't be talking about keeping Kamal Miller. We wouldn't be talking about obtaining all these other Argentines for center back.
No, 100%. So what do you think? When do you think we'll be seeing Hall and Boatwright? U.S. Open Cup games?
Well, I would hope that now in this tour they get some minutes. 15. What is it like? Is it right? Don't need it. It's really good.
You know what? Now that they said that, I do see a lot of homeless people pulling their carts with all their belongings inside. I hadn't thought of that.
There's more.
That's a
More
good
now.
comment, but
It's the
yeah.
economy, man.
Yeah.
What?
Go ahead.
Yeah, no shit. Shit's
No,
hard.
because he's making fun of me because I told him that I shop. Well, we'll ask you this at the end, but I shop pulling the shopping cart. But we'll get to that at the end.
Oh, you're in the front pulling it. You're not in the
Yes,
back
yes.
pushing.
No. We'll talk about that later.
So when do you think we're gonna see Boatwright and Hall?
I think they're gonna, like I was saying, I think they're gonna get some playing time during this tour, which is perfect, which is fantastic. Maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes and build it from there. But those are definite US Open type tournament players. Remember, Drake got his first big start against Miami FC, right? And I don't know if you guys remember that. And then from there, he blew up the previous season. He blew up and just kept the spot. But I think they'll get minutes there and they'll show. Boatwright is a little bit more experienced because he played. He was on the team. He got a little playing time. He showed, he's quick. He's quick. He's aggressive. He goes up and takes some solid shots at goal. So I think you can expect something from him. That's why I think Harvey's in trouble. I think Harvey's in trouble, or
because he can cover that. He can cover the Harvey spot.
Pretty much. And Hall is a young, but he's a young player at center back. A very every position is important, right? But you got to be a captain. You have to be a leader.
Yes.
You have to be a stud. You need someone like that at that position. So that's asking a lot for a young kid. But he's in a locker room with some veterans, Christoph, and you got some people and then you have another young guy like Aviles, but has a lot of experience. So he's gonna hear from everywhere, and hopefully he develops. But the kids everywhere he's played, he's always been an all-star, right? So I expect for him to develop and become an all-star here too.
I think so. I could see that. Yeah, he's got a high ceiling. He's got the ability. I mean, center backs you expect to be a little bit more calmer, a little bit more, calmer under pressure. When it comes to playing younger guys back there, it's kind of a scary thing. You get the Toto Aviles thing where it's like, oh, well, he's good on defense, but then he might blow somebody out of the water and get a red card, So,
Hopefully
you can tell he's talented. Yes,
no, absolutely, sure. Absolutely. With the ball, they all know, and with this type of team, everybody has to know with the ball. Everybody has to have a good first touch on the ball. You can't just have, one of those center backs, first touch is, or just kick the ball out. No, Miami is playing where everybody on the pitch knows how to touch it and treat the ball correctly and put it where it needs to be and move it around and look nice doing it. And that's the type
I'm glad you said that, because that kind of segues into the next topic. Because over the last couple of weeks, before they traded Kamal Miller, I said I didn't think center back was the biggest issue. I thought it was the midfield, because you could play that high line, but the issue with the high line, it's not so much the fact that our center backs are slow. It's the fact that we're turning the ball over so much that makes the center backs have to get back so quickly. So we need to keep possession more. We need better technical players. And all of a sudden, yesterday, we started getting a lot of traction on this Medina rumor, right? All of a sudden, Boca turns down the offer. Right. And then all of a sudden, now it's 12 million. And they're still negotiating. Boca wants 15. We don't want to give 15. Now, my brother's brother-in-law says that he thinks that Medina is a great player. I'll take him because I don't watch Boca. I'm taking everybody at their word. Supposedly this kid's going to be a baller. I think that upgrading the midfield was necessary because Diego Gomez, although we think he has potential, and Kremaki toward the end of the year, I thought they were a little too careless with the ball sometimes. Yeah. They were giving the ball away too much.
They're a little rougher. They're a different type of physique and players too.
So I really want Medina on this team to kind of fill in this midfield. And like you said, those rumors are really heating up, and I really think this is going to happen. And I wouldn't be surprised if it happens before the weekend, before the introductory Suarez on Saturday and the training camp. I wouldn't be surprised if it happens before Saturday. I wanted to get your thoughts on Medina.
Okay. I've listened and I've looked at a lot of the stuff from Argentina talking about him. Obviously, he's come up, through the national teams, the youth national teams. He's been an important player, and they expect him to be more of like a creative player. So this team, you have Farias, you have Messi, maybe you need another guy, but you also need, when you're talking about the midfield, you need guys that can cover a lot of ground, You want the two-way player. So he can develop and be that type of player because he's played multiple. He just hasn't been the 10. He's played other positions. He's played an 8. He's actually been a 6. So he's got another player that can bring flexibility, but has very good technique. Rich. This is a team that wants to be rich in technique. But when you have those type of teams, what scares me is that sometimes these games it becomes a fight. You have to be a little bit, you have to have a little bit more.
You have to be rugged,
and that's where Gregory, like people talk, oh, he's rough, he sucks. No, Gregory's got.
I love it.
He has he's a pit bull. He's got pretty good. His technique has gotten better. His distribution has gotten better, and he's a guy that you're always gonna know is gonna be up and down, side to side. He covers so many people's backs that we realized that when he went down in the injury,
you lost that, yeah.
Exactly. So I think you need those type of players. Medina is not that type of player. He's not that type of player. He's more of the up. And anytime you have good, you can never have enough good players. So, but his function, I think, will be a little different. I think Kramaski and Gomez are more of the two-way, but more of a defensive players. The guys you put behind them to cover their backs, because Gomez, people can say whatever they want, but the guy hustles, right?
Yeah, he has a motor. I mean, that's always been his thing.
And he's a pretty big kid, and he's not afraid of. And then Kramaski is another one. He's not afraid of mixing. And then you got Gregory. So you got three guys that can do that. So you got 3 guys that can do that. Now up top, you're gonna have Farias, Messi, and Medina. 3 other guys that can pass the ball around and do their thing. So I think they're looking for like 3 deep. I think that's what they're doing, but he'll be welcomed. He's a solid player. And everybody's always talking about Messi is gone and the team's going to be destroyed. No, if you look at this roster, there's a lot of young, solid players on this 100%. Roster. And they're getting experience with the GOAT. They're learning how to play with the GOAT and how the GOAT.
And he spells Christian the correct way.
Get out of here.
Christian with a K is cool too, man.
No, it's not. Nobody does
Get out
that.
of here, Danny.
All right. So, like you said, they're trying to go 3 deep. So I'm gonna put this up here.
In my estimation, I think.
Right. Well, I agree with you. So at the moment, this is more or less what we're looking at. So you'll see. I mean, I didn't put Borgelin behind Campana. But you can see we have Messi up top with Stefanelli and Coco Jean behind him. Farias with Taylor and Robinson.
Those 2 guys are in trouble right there, though. I don't
Stefanelli and Coco Jean. You don't think they're gonna make it?
I don't know if both of them will make the cut.
Well, at center back, look, at center back still is the worst spot. You have Saylor and hopefully Frey behind Aviles, and McVeigh and Hall behind Christoph. And then at right back, you have Yellen and Boatwright. I don't know if Yellen sticks around. At left back, you have Negri and Allen back.
You put Gressel automatically in as starter? I don't know about that.
You think that Yellen was start for him?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the coach is gonna bring him right in and just put him over Yellen. We'll see.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about Gressel
spicy.
a second.
That's a spicy take.
What do you think, Chris?
I do think that Yedlin plays a little bit in the beginning. I mean,
so you think Gressel's brought in?
I think that Gressel's got to mold into it. So I can agree with you for sure. But everybody's expecting this guy to put cleats on and run on the field first second of the game.
Okay.
Yeah. Look, the thing with Gressel is he started in the majority of the season. Towards the end of the season, he lost his starting spot. He didn't start in the playoffs. I forget this kid's name. Starts with an F for Columbus. I'm blanking right now. But he lost his starting job. He was part of that championship team, but he wasn't a big contributor. He lost his starting job there. So, yeah, he played right mid years ago. Yeah, he won a title with Tata back in 2018. But last year, he fell out of favor in Columbus. Like, I'm with you. I don't know what we're getting with Gressel. I assume that it's going to be good, right? I assume that, but I also
it has to be. He's always been solid. He's always been a solid player.
And I also assume that he's going to be better than Yedlin because offensively, outside of Yedlin getting the ball quickly because of the pace that he has, I don't think technically he was that great, honestly. Like he
Yeah,
could give you
he was flashy.
a good low ball, I guess, a good low cross. But as far as crossing the ball, I mean, Gressel supposedly that's his strong suit, and I think that's what we're hoping to get with him.
He had a better season, right? He's
Yes,
coming
for
off a
sure.
better season.
Until he got
He's
benched, yeah.
more all around. I think more solid.
Farsi. Thank
He's
you. I'm
better.
sorry.
He's better
Farsi.
at doing several things. But I just don't know if you come in and put him there. I think maybe they'll work him into the lineup. Who knows? Hopefully, it's like it should be. Whoever wins it in the practice. Who's the best player? Who's the better player? You're playing better this week. You're the starter. You're not. I just want Yedlin to wake up and play to his potential.
Yes, and that's what a lot of people I think are missing, Danny, is that nobody knows what kind of shape and mindset Yedlin is going to return to this team with.
And real quick, my understanding is Gressel's weak point is defense. Like he's not a good defender. Go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, I mean my point was nobody knows. Everybody's expecting Yedlin to be out of here, but nobody knows that whether he's going to come back and be on fire or not. Have a different mindset, just overchange his whole game and be like a stud. You don't know that. You don't think so, Danny?
I'm expecting better offensive contributions from Gressel, honestly. That's what I'm expecting. They're going to play that high line. He's going to be contributing a lot offensively. And defensively, we're going to just be lacking in that position like we always do usually. So we got to count on a center back saving our ass or a Gregory or a CDM that can track back and cover so that the center backs can go out wide. If we get Medina, though. So this is what we look like right now. If we get Medina, I think Busquets moves back to the CDM, right? And then he can have Medina. And I think that Gomez will start over Kremaki just because I think that prefers Gomez over Kremaki. And he can have those guys covering back for him. Gives Busquets kind of freedom to roam.
Yeah.
And I think that this is what things look like if we get Medina, and then we just need that center back. What do you think?
That's pretty solid group. I was just gonna mention Busquets. I think was better defensively than people thought. I didn't think he was terrible.
He had some really bad giveaways though. Remember when he was back there?
That's a different story. That's a different story because maybe the speed factor where he didn't realize the guy was so close and he thought he could do it. He thought he was still 22-year-old Busquets and not 34, 35-year-old Busquets. But I thought defensively he did really well. Why? Because he's just he reads the game. He's a master of the game, so he understands. He's ahead of the game. But you definitely have to have somebody to cover his back. Somebody has to be there. I believe in this lineup you have to have a Gregory in there, or you have to have a Krowanski, or you have to have a Gomez in there to cover people's backs.
So if they go 4-3-3, who do you think here would lose their spot?
Okay, so but you have Mota starting?
No, I have Mota behind Medina. Mota is.
Oh, okay. Well, you have Medina, right? Medina off the bat too. Oh, you get new toys and you put them right in right away.
Oh, of course. if I'm paying $12 million for him, he better start.
He should come in and start right away, right? Yeah, he can be the two-way player. I mean, helping.
Didn't Gomez start on his debut?
Gomez started a game after he was super injured. Remember, they put his ass in and he sucked. They had to take him back out. He got injured.
It was the U.S. Open Cup final that just randomly.
And he played. Yeah, that was crazy, right? Yeah, well, Medina with Busquets and Cremati, I think that's a solid three. Or if you want to put, who else you want to put out there? But I think that's solid right there. Up top is where I'm a little bit iffy.
No way. Who are you taking off? You taking off Messi?
No.
I know.
No, absolutely not. I'm talking about the guys behind them. The guys behind them worry me a little bit. They worry me a little bit. That's a big drop off right there. Anybody's a drop off, but that's a huge drop off right there, dude.
And you're not going to get anybody, I think, that's going to be less of a drop off. Now, between Gregory and Arroyo, look, Arroyo is a free agent. He technically hasn't. His contract's done, but he can come back. So yes, everybody's saying he's gone,
traded, but he
hasn't been gone, right? if Gregory leaves, I think Arroyo comes back. I think it's either Gregory or Arroyo. I don't think they both come back. I don't think they both leave.
No, one of the biggest bargains for Inter Miami last year was Arroyo. For the amount of money that they paid, he played great, and he
helped out a lot.
He was a workhorse. Like he played a bunch of games straight until they finally gave him a break, and he did a good job. And actually, I thought he got progressively better. He even scored a banger in one of the games. I think he's definitely a solid player, and he enjoyed the MLS experience. So if he's not here, he's going to try to stick around somewhere else. That's an ace in the whole that if Gregory does get shipped out, he comes right in like nothing, fits right in perfectly. I don't know if that's in the back burner. I don't know if that's part of the plan. I don't know. I would prefer Gregory because I think he gives you a little bit more. But for this team, Arroyo fits perfectly because he's the guy that'll sit back there. He'll just cover your back. Hey, Busquets, go. Busquets, do your thing. Oh, you lost it? Bam, here I go. I think he's a good player, but something has to happen in that. Someone has to move.
Look, Busquets needs somebody like that.
Absolutely. 100%. They got to cover his back. So,
100%. Chris, do you think who do you think is going to stay, Gregory or Arroyo?
I think Gregory's going to stay.
Arroyo's already gone.
I think
he's not gone. He just hasn't signed yet.
They didn't. Let's see. Look, out of what was.
Well, while you look for that, I want to ask everybody that's in the chat. Thank you guys for contributing. Please take the time, scroll up, like, and subscribe. All that garbage. And before we get to
garbage, if you're asking them to do it.
Well, okay, yes, whatever scrolling you need to do. But listen, I need to get to this because we need to mention this one time like we talked about.
Go ahead.
Okay, so Arsenal fan, I want to tell you something. You're telling me not to be like Danny, and you need to calm your tits, buddy. Last episode, you literally were in here just trolling por gusto. I hope that you speak Spanish, really for no reason. Okay. So please, look, there's nothing wrong with your banter. You can hang out, eat shit in the chat. We love that. We love the chat. Right, Danny? I mean,
it's the best part of the show.
It's the best part of the show, guys. But don't come on here, Arsenal, and be a douchebag. Like, you can hang out, talk all the crap you want. Just don't be a douche. Don't be talking crap out the side of your ass. Like, if you're going to say something, then I'm not going to speak Spanish. If you want Spanish, then you got... If you want Spanish, then
all we're saying is that we enjoy the chat. We want everybody to have fun in the chat. If you just come in to just troll and piss people off, then you're just ruining the chat. So you can say your opinion if you want. If you're purposely trying to piss people off, then it's completely pointless. And like you just sidetracked the show. So all right.
Exactly. Don't be a come mierda. There's
your Spanish. That's Spanish.
Okay. So would you put the Medina thing? Give me a percentage. What do you think the Medina chances are?
I think it's over 60%.
Okay.
I think it's more here than there.
I agree. I'd put it at 80%. I really expect this to happen. I expect it to happen before Saturday.
They have
Chris, what do you think?
Their eyes on them. They have their eyes on them, and they're making moves.
I think it's going to happen. I mean, it's like what Xavier said. They've been eyeing this for a while. So, yeah.
All right. Well, okay. I feel like the biggest needs were midfield with Medina. It would be addressed. Right back with Gressel, I think it was addressed, and center back, which needs to be addressed.
They brought in the kid, but that's not. Something's got to happen there. I agree with you. Something's got to happen there.
So I think after Medina, if it happens, I think that we're looking at one more big signing. Do you have any inkling of what you think would happen or what you would like to happen? I wanted Miles Robinson. They didn't go that way. Now I want David Martinez from River. What are you thinking?
Well, he was like earlier. Supposedly there was talks or looks at him, and then that broke down. That's what I heard. But I do like. Remember, they also mentioned Enzo. I do want them to look somewhere like South America. It's a great place to look at a good price, and you got solid defenders. So I want them to look out there. Now here in the U.S., who's available? All the top guys are gone, right? Are gone. If you're going to go out there for the market, you have McVay. Who's available that's better than McVay? So, but you want to upgrade, right? You want to upgrade.
Negri.
Now you're putting your Henderson hat on. I think they're looking again. They're looking out there. They talked about the center back Cuesta, the Brazilian. I thought he was a little bit older. He's still a solid player, but that they need a speeders, a younger. To me, it's got to be a guy between 25 to 30 max.
David Martinez is 25. He's got the pace.
And he's left-footed, right? And he's left-footed.
And if he's a lefty, I think that he would fill in for Kamal perfectly, just like a better Kamal, younger Kamal. No, is he younger? Yeah. I think he might be the same age, but still, like to me, that would be the first time.
They need somebody in that. Let's say with that profile, because I can't give you a name because I don't know, but I do think they need. A lot of jerk. Don't pay attention to that guy. He's hurt because Arsenal has been tanking, man. Oh yeah, I think they need a player with that profile, a young veteran player with speed and quality. That would set them up, like you said. They've looked at their needs and they're starting to fill it, right? And then you got some of the. You're talking about midfield. We didn't mention David Rees. We didn't mention him. I think he was a very, very solid player, and he's a guy that can play two ways and defensively also. It's just that, another guy that gets yellow cards, that's our young guys, right? They need to know how to temper.
Sergio Ramos was my favorite player of all time, so I'm all in for that,
but you're talking about a center back that's just like, it's crazy, right? You took those red cards because he gave you a goal. He gave you a goal on the most, opportune moment.
A few of them.
All the time. And champions.
La Décima was the big one, yes. La Décima was definitely the biggest.
Yeah, but you're talking about like an all-timer. So
I'm just talking about that personality. I love that personality.
Oh, no, no. You have to have the passion. You don't want to take that. You don't want to take that away. You just want to temper, the foul and how to do it and stuff. But I think the team is solid. I think what you said is I agree with that. They need the center back. Everybody, right? Everybody's saying, well, Kamal's gone. It was a position of need. They need to bring somebody in. That's what common sense and logic says, right? I don't think they're just going to settle for bringing Tyler up. He's the future. I don't think they're banking on Ian coming 100% and just coming right in and fitting. If that happens, that would be spectacular. You don't have to look anywhere else.
Yeah.
But you have to do, with caution. You have to be cautious with Ian because of what's happened. His ability, his quality, all of that, everybody knows. It's just, he's been injured. So he's been injured not once, not twice, but 3 times. So they got to be very cautious with him.
And really quickly before we, I guess, wrap it up. So Mike B is mentioning that I can't be a Karen because no Karen pulls the cart and definitely no sandwiches north to south. So back to the cart thing before we wrap the show up, X. When you go shopping, do you shop pushing the shopping cart or pulling the shopping cart?
I'm trying to, cause I know I've done both, but the majority of the time I push. But I know I've done both. Like I've done that before. But more, I think the pulling has been more like in the grocery store. Like I'm reaching for something and then I just, it's great, and I'll pull it. But mostly I'm a pusher. I push it real good.
And then, and Joe Kerr, look, Xavier isn't crazy. I'm not going to say that, but there's no, and yes, Abetico, I guess you could say he's normal, but look, pulling the card is the way to go, guys. I'm on the go.
I forgot who it was.
You might be ahead of the game. You're the future.
No, I forgot who it was that said it, but from now on, that's the hobo move. That was 100% a good example. Whoever was it that said that it's like the homeless people. It's true.
They usually do, yeah. Because you're ahead, eyeing what you can grab and what
you're crossing the street.
I'm a bum.
Maybe Chris is doing that. He's shopping, grabbing, throwing, and
Yeah,
he's
I'm on the run.
He's efficient. He's efficient.
You don't want to see him on the road. He's a horrible driver.
No, I'm actually a perfect driver. So Mr. Krabs is mentioning, couldn't help but notice Danny didn't have Emerson on that. Of course he didn't have Emerson on the 11 because he almost took Messi's spot. I'd
rather have Emerson over Coco or Stefanetti, to be honest with you.
Oh, geez.
Danny, don't even. Because I would definitely take him over Coco Sean.
That's what I have to say about that. All right, Xavier, as always, thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate you. Always a fun time when you jump on with us. Any final thoughts? Oh, and also, plug your stuff.
Oh, right there, XG Levels on Twitter. Give me a follow. I love it every time you guys invite me. It's a great show. The time flies so fast. I can't believe it's already over.
An hour.
Yeah, and I can't wait for this preseason tour to get started. Can't wait for the season to get started. Miami's doing great things, unprecedented things, moving the league forward. And I think Messi wants some more titles. And it's going to be great if Miami wins, or not if, when Miami wins some titles, to see the rest of the nation crying, especially the people from New York, LA, like everybody. You know who cries a lot, and I'm surprised, is Philly. Every time I write something about Philly fans always attacking me.
But they cry about everything. I mean,
well, that could be
they
it.
throw snowballs at Santa Claus. Like
they cry more than the Orlando Magic. Orlando City.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They cry more than them. But I'm looking forward to the season. It's gonna be nice, and I'm waiting for one more player to come in.
Center back. Chris, any final thoughts?
Arsenal saying stop hating Messi. Come on, you don't get the show, Arsenal. Please.
Nobody hates Messi. Look,
hating Messi.
I literally have a Messi plush doll.
That's our guy. Who's hating him?
I love Messi.
Get out of here.
Any final thoughts, Chris?
Arsenal pulls the card. Arsenal for sure pulls the card.
Arsenal's a card puller.
He's a puller.
Sure. He doesn't even pull the card. He sits in the baby section. That's what he does.
One of the Publix, the little green car, section.
Yeah.
No hold.
All right. Well, as always, everybody in the chat, we appreciate you guys joining in, having a good time with us. We're going to be back tomorrow night at 9:00 because we're coming on 3 times a week. When the season starts, we'll be back 4 times a week.
Damn.
So we appreciate you joining. Hey, man, you can't stop the hustle.
Oh, yeah. When you have the battered Dolphins and all that stuff, I know a little football too. So don't worry. I can do a cameo.
Oh, for sure, man. We got the battered Heat Thursday night at 10:00.
I've been a battered fan since 1979.
I'm gonna send you a battered fan shirt because you deserve it. No, I'm serious. I'm gonna send it to you. All right. If you are listening on audio, we appreciate you listening all the way to the end. Please leave us 5-star review, comment, subscribe, all that other good stuff. And if you are watching on YouTube, please like, subscribe, share, and as always, the chat. Thank you for joining us for an hour, a little over an hour. We appreciate you taking the time. As always, you are the best part of the show. And until the next one, have a good one.
Peace.